Good evening, everyone. This is the Ask Dr. Renee show. And tonight we have, this is our usual Trep Tuesdays. It's just a Thursday, but this is our Entrepreneur Special Edition. And tonight we have Jasmine Lawrence. Jasmine created Eden Body Works. And if anyone has complimented my curls, you know where they came from. I am a brand ambassador for Eden Body Works, most people know. And so that's the products that I've been using for years now. And so now we get to talk to Jasmine about her amazing journey, which is so amazing. She started at 13 years old. So we're going to jump right in. And please, if you have questions, don't forget, if you're watching on Google Hangout, you hit the squares in the upper right-hand corner and you'll click those white squares. There's 9 of them. Click that. It'll say Q&A, and then you can type in Q&A there. If you're on YouTube, type them in the comments. We'll get them. And if you would like, you can always tweet me at Ask Dr. Renee, and I will get those as well. So let's get to it. Jasmine, thank you for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dr. Renee. I really appreciate it.
No problem. So let's start at the beginning. So first of all, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be an inventor. I wanted to be some type of scientist that just created things like Isaac Newton or Isaac Asimov, and I just wanted to build things and create things. So I wasn't really sure what kind of job that was, or what company I would work for, or what company I would even start to be something like that. But I wanted to be kind of in the history books as someone who invented something or had a great idea.
Awesome. So take us to what happened that made you create Eden Body Works.
Yeah, so I founded Eden Body Works almost 12 years ago. It'll be 12 years ago this summer. And what happened was I actually lost a lot of my hair due to a chemical relaxer. And it was a really traumatic experience for me because I had grown up as I don't want to say child model, but I'm going to say child model, pageant girl, Honey Boo Boo style, strutting across my childhood was very centered around how I looked and how people would perceive me and judge me based on the way that I presented myself. That's just how I kind of grew up. And so losing my hair was really shocking and really taxing for me because my whole identity was pretty much wrapped in the way that I looked. After I lost my hair, I started doing research. I started to figure out, what can grow my hair back? What can I actually afford? What's in these products? What does this even mean? And I just started to do research, going to libraries and, doing, interviews with different natural and holistic people that I would meet at different shops and things like that, and started just formulating different products. Now, I had absolutely no intention of selling these products. I just want to say that right up front. All I wanted was my hair back. All I wanted was to be beautiful and pretty again. And I think that the whole process of developing something for me, of, feeling empowered by the fact that I could create something to solve my own problems and that I didn't have to wait on anybody else to try and solve this problem for me, kind of really changed my attitude about the way that I saw myself. But pretty much about 2 years later, I went to a business camp hosted by the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. And at that camp, I learned in 2 weeks how to start a small business, how to find a group of people, how to work with them, understand their needs, and develop a product that could solve that need that is also profitable and marketable. And then Eden Body Works was born.
Wow. So how old were the other kids at this camp?
There was different ages. It ranged from 13 to 18. So some people were, about to go off and start college. There might have actually been some early college freshmen there, but most of us were high school, middle school. I was definitely one of the younger kids in the class, though.
That is really cool. And you grew up in Jersey, right?
Yeah, so both of my parents were in the Army, so we moved around quite a bit. We got to live all over the country, but I went to high school and most of middle school in New Jersey.
Okay. Cool beans. So that is so interesting. So you developed these products, and then who was your first tester besides yourself?
So my little sister, older sister, mom, dad, cousins, they were all my guinea pigs. And to be honest, even though we were the same family, we have so many different hair types. different textures, different porosity. Like I have absolutely dry hair, but my sister's hair just is greasy and oily all the time. Like there were so many textures even within my own family that it was actually pretty great to be able to test on like such a wide range of people just in the beginning.
Yeah, I can imagine. So what was the first product you created? Is it something that's on the shelf now, or is it something that, okay.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. The first product that I ever made was the jojoba manioc oil, the hair oil. I use that every single day to nourish my hair and to nourish my scalp. That is really what kind of got me on the path of going natural. So I would say I've been natural for almost 14 years. And that was the first product where, I would apply it every day. I would understand what it would mean to detangle, to cleanse my scalp, to massage my scalp, to stimulate that growth, that I needed to drink water and eat proteins to actually contribute to the process of growing my hair. So that product is actually on the shelf. It's actually available in quite a few places.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So let me tell you my story, because actually I've never met Jasmine in person. You just haven't come to Chicago recently. So hopefully you'll come soon. But they brought the products here when the coconut shea line came out. I went to the event, and while Lori was like, here, we have samples. They had sample bags. And I was like, oh, okay, great. So the very next day I used the pudding souffle. And everyone was like, Renee, and these are the same people who had went with me the day before. Yeah. And they were like, what'd you put in your hair? And I was like, remember that stuff from last night? And they're like, really? Oh, wow, it's really good. And I was like, yeah, it looks kind of nice, doesn't it? I like it, And they were like, wow, And so that's how I started. So I did that. Then I tried the Curl Define cream after I washed my hair. I twisted it with that and was like, oh, okay. And then I think we had little sample packets of shampoo and peppermint tea tree shampoo. And I was like, oh, this feels good, So I went everywhere I started going. People would say, what did you do to your hair? And I was like, 2-strand twist out. They were like, how did you get such definition? And I guess it's the stuff I use. I have no idea, So I remember I went to Essence that year and everyone was blown away, because literally my sister and I would work out that morning, shower, and then hit the convention center, and everyone was stopping me like, you have such definition. And I was like, oh, thanks, And so I tell them this is what I'm using. So I start posting pictures and stuff. So like I said, long story short, now I'm a brand ambassador, and I've told everyone about the products because everyone has watched my hair transition. Now I've been natural since 99. Wow. I tell everyone I was natural before it was cool to be natural. Before there was YouTube videos and all these things to help us. So, and I really was never a product junkie. I started out making my own products. It was just time consuming. And then I found Eden's, and it works, and I just never turned back. Now, when I became a brand ambassador, I learned the jojoba manioc line would be more for hair that was more like mine. I had some breakage, some dryness. So I was like, so that's when I started using those products. But before I was just everything was coconut shea. But now I use the conditioner and the deep conditioner, and so, but yeah, my mother uses them now. My sister, this was the funniest thing. She subscribed to the Curl Box. So she's like, Renee, I found this product I really like. I said, okay. And I kept telling her about Eden. I'm like, come on, So I go visit her. She goes, here's the product I like. I go, Alicia, read what it says. It was Eden Body Works. I was like, have I not been telling you? She goes, oh my God, I didn't even realize. And so we have a stash at my parents' house, so we don't have to travel with it. Nice. I have there's a stash like in certain places. And so when we travel, we don't have to take it with us. We got it there. And so, and then if I'm going to visit her, she's got me. And so it's too funny. Nice. Too funny. But so we love the products. So how do you go from creating these products in your kitchen, I'm sure, right? Yeah. Okay. How did you go from there to even thinking, okay, maybe we should sell these?
Yeah. So it was really at the business camp. Okay. So there, like I said, it was a need-based product development. And I think I really kind of thrive in that type of environment. Like, I think new technology comes out all the time, and they try and just find a way to make it useful. So for example, like, self-driving cars, like, oh, it's awesome, cool technology. And now we have to take this technology and apply it to the problems of the world. Like maybe there will be self-driving buses that take kids to school, whatever. It's different. Instead, I started with, what is my problem? or what are the problem that women are having in the space of hair care and beauty? Let's address that at a foundational level. And how can I support that with a product? So for example, for me, like I said, the jojoba line was, it was about like rejuvenation and revival for me, for my life. Like I was essentially starting over from scratch. I had no hair. I had no positive opinions of myself. Like I need to do something about that. So that line is all centered around, you know, repairing damage and restructuring, and really the whole platform at Eden Body Works is just around education, you learning about you so you can take care of you, right? Like you shouldn't feel like you're a slave to the products that you use. Like if it was up to me, everyone would feel like the company that makes their products was a partner in their life. And so that's when I knew like, okay, this is, you know, this is just beyond me mixing in my kitchen, right? Like I could actually change people's opinions of themselves and, you know, their relationships with their, you know, themselves and their sisters and their families and things like that by, you know, getting this product out there to market. So it's really been amazing over the last, you know, decade to just develop products like with that still that like need-based product development in mind. And it really has just evolved from, you know, interviewing people, getting people's emails. Like I used to get, I don't get them anymore, but I used to get like handwritten letters to our PO box saying like, hey, I have alopecia, or hey, I have this type of hair, you know, like you were saying, those pre-YouTube days where people were just like, what do? I actually want to learn. I care. I want to be invested in me. And it's just been excited, like I said, over the last 10 years to just partner with the community and be like, okay, guys, what's the struggle today? Like, what are we going through? What, you know, what can we solve for? What
Uh-oh, you froze. Oh, okay, we're back, I think. Are you okay? No, you're frozen. Oh,
Hey.
oh, she's back. Okay. So the other thing I was gonna ask, so first of all, the name,
Yeah.
where'd that come from?
Yeah, so obviously, well, maybe not as obviously, but the name was inspired by the Garden of Eden. I definitely grew up in a Christian household, you know, growing up thinking like you have to trust God and that he'll supply all the things that you need. So like I said, we're need-based product development. So definitely wanted to model it after, you know, that fresh, that garden, that place that just can satisfy all those needs for you in your life. So Eden Body Works came out of that.
And then how did you, I'm sure your parents helped you, but what was the first store and how did you get to them?
Oh man, so there was a beauty supply store in Winslow Township in New Jersey. And I used to go there to buy, you know, bobby pins, hair clips, extensions, all those types of things. And it was actually a story of about what I was doing was actually carried in the local newspaper. And so the next time I went in there, he was like, oh, hey, you're that girl from the newspaper, aren't you? And I went there and I was like, I don't know how this works. I don't know how distribution works. I don't know how getting products on the shelf works, but I think it'd be really cool if, you know, I could get my products here. So we just worked it out. And, you know, it was a lot of, you know, just building up to that when I was just doing it, when I was just making the products, kind of going door to door, going to different salons and just being like, hey, like, I see you guys have products here. You guys sell product. You want to sell my product? I would actually like give them like hundreds of dollars of product for free. And I'd say, hey, have this product for free. I'll come back in 2 weeks and I just want X% of whatever you sell and give me back whatever you don't sell. So no burden on you. You don't even have to buy it first. Just give me my piece of whatever you're able to contribute. And so, you know, just started with different strategies like that to kind of prove that the product could stand on its own and that the product had a lot of worth and value. And so that's kind of how I got started in my first marketplace.
Wow. And then, because I remember you were in Black Enterprise a lot because you were winning all these competitions. And so I was like, and I had, like I said, I'd heard of the products, but I never saw them until that day when they came, I was like, oh, you know, I've heard so much about this. I just never have seen it on the shelf. So how did you, so what did you say, what year was it that you like broke out and you were kind of nationwide?
Well, I would say it was like 2007 is when Eden Body Works signed its first national distribution deal with Walmart stores. But I would say the kicker was probably early 2006 when I appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show. that
The
was
Oprah effect.
that, I mean, absolutely like life witness of the Oprah effect. It was just insane. Like, I mean, we just started like trying to figure out, okay, how do we mass produce for Walmart? Like we sign this contract, they want X thousands of units every month. I don't think I can go to school and manufacture that much product by hand and all those labels to be straight after hours of producing them. And so at that time, everything was still done by hand. Everything was still handmade, hand labeled. You know, every order was pick, packed, and shipped by, you know, my cousin or my neighbors or my friends from school. And, when the Oprah show aired, we got just thousands of orders, just thousands in that one day. And it took us 3 months to fill the orders from that one day. I mean, subsequent orders came days later as people talked about it, as things showed up on TV and things like that, but just thousands of orders that day. And I was just thinking like, wow, okay, we need a factory now. And it was great, you know, it was great to be able to come to the factories with that demand. You know, not just saying like, hey, we're a little startup but saying like, hey, we have the volume, we have the, you know, the money, like let's partner, let's do this. And it's actually one of the most fun processes because it's kind of like picking a daycare for your child. You know, you're like choosing this partner who's going to have a great influence over the integrity of your products and things like that. So that was a really fun process to kind of just vet and have them try and reproduce formulas and things like that, and finding a great partner to help produce. And it was great that you know, they're actually here in the U.S. So it's really
that's awesome.
to, like, pop up there and visit and test things and, you know, see the floor and things like that.
So do you have the same? Is this the same factory that you've had, or?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working together for a few years now. Okay. So as the demand has grown, they've just been able to scale. Nice. They've been doing that for a while. So it's been great.
Nice. And that's one of the things I think also is a great selling point when I do talk about the products, you know, at the different events. I'm like, you know, it's made here in the U.S. They're like, really? I was like, yeah, made in the U.S.
Yes.
Because, you know, nothing seems to be made here. But, you know, that is very attractive that it is made here. But it is still affordable, because that's the other thing. People are like, well, how much does it cost at the store? I'm like, it's not that much more.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, that's pretty cool. So Oprah did it in 2006. And then, so Walmart, that's a pretty big deal. Yeah. So we've had some other girls, other ladies that have created their own lines. And I know that once you get in the store, you want to stay in the store. Mm-hmm. So what did you do? Because even you're kind of way early on with the internet too. Like, you know, Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff wasn't really that popular back in 2007. As a matter of fact, Twitter wasn't even around yet.
Yeah.
So how did you make sure you stayed in the store?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a lot of targeted marketing and a lot of just focusing on like what different events that you can have to make yourself stand out. So obviously from a brand perspective, you know, we were saying Walmart every other word, you know, like, hey, check them out at Walmart. Like, we know you like getting them online. We know you like the shipping straight to your door, but go check it out. Go see what else the store has to offer, because, you know, there are other complementary things like, you know, your brushes, your combs, just different things like that you can go pick up on the way, right? It should be more convenient for you. We did a strategic growth with Walmart, actually. And so it was good to actually anticipate the desire for the product. So what I mean by that is we started just in 10 stores in my neighborhood, 10 Walmart stores, and then grew to 300 stores in particular regions. And then that's how we knew, okay, this product is accessible enough. It's a great cost point. You know, we've got great marketing tactics to actually grow to be 1,000 and then more than that nationwide. So I actually appreciated the process that they let me grow kind of at that kind of staggered pace, instead of just saying like, okay, every Walmart store, boom, go. Yeah. Success or fail, float or sink, go. It was really like, okay, what do people like? What attracts them? What types of coupons? What types of deals? What are the seasonal times that people purchase the product based on when it's needed? So that's a little bit of the strategy, but it's absolutely a strategy. It's absolutely about listening to what people want, about not being overly ambitious and being just prepared for the opportunities that are presented.
So when did you bring in the peppermint tea tree line? Like, how many years after Jojoba Manoi?
It was probably maybe a year or a
Okay.
year or two after. Yeah, the jojoba line. Yeah, actually, the peppermint tea tree line was the first line to have a shampoo and a conditioner. Just because I fell completely in love with the cleansing properties of peppermint, the
Yeah.
antifungal, just the way that it made my scalp tingle was just incredibly exciting. I started with just like an oil that I would spray on a wipe, you know, and kind of like cleanse between, like I have braids now, I have twists now, but I would just clean after basketball. I would just clean in between and kind of get the itchiness out. And I was like, oh, I want to cleanse with this. I want like a soap base with this. So yeah, not too long afterwards.
Okay. So you had those two for a while because the coconut shea, that was the first line to come out in quite a while. There was a large
Right.
gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So coconut shea was the first line I made in my like kind of collegiate years. So I started at Georgia Tech in, oh my gosh, 2009, and it was tough. Like not just the school, but you know, in high school has like a beginning and an end. You know, like it starts at whatever time,
Yes.
and I get out at like 2, and then I had all day until 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock to work or do homework or basketball practice. College, it was about, you know, figuring out time management. You know, maybe on Thursday I would have one hour lecture, but 20 hours of reading and lecture and things like that. And I wasn't at home anymore, so I didn't have my lab, I didn't have my equipment. It was like tough to get the ingredients onto a college campus, and it just, you know, took a lot to figure out like, hey, I can't do this on my own. I need a team. I need some more people on the ground to help move things. At that time, the business was just running up to 5 years old, and that is a critical stat for me because a lot of startups actually fail before they even get to year 5. So I knew if we could make it to that year 5 road mark, oh, we could make it awesome. So yeah, I just formulated a team, and that was the first kind of product that I went through a team building process to develop the line. So really, really excited about it. People seem to love it. It's the styling line of the 3.
Yes.
So it's the one that gets your curls popping and works on moisture, things like that. We actually evolved the kids line, the kids line of shampoo, conditioner, and styling products out of that coconut shea because it's just been such a great success.
So you said you had to get a team. So before that, you didn't have a team. It was just you and your neighbors and your family. And
Pretty much. I mean, I had a bunch of like ad hoc employees that I would, pay for their work and things like that. But yeah, my mom and dad were great supporters. My sisters were my first employees, and they worked really hard. And I would say back then I wasn't as sensitive of a leader as I am today, and so they quit. One of my sisters. We used to sell candles, all natural soy candles that would melt into a massage oil. And, you know, it was something that was really fun for my littlest sister to do. She loved to just mix the essential oils and make different scents and combinations. And she was really good at it. And so I was paying her, you know, maybe 10 cents a bottle or something to fill oils for me. And I was just getting the candles and selling her candles for free. Like, and she realized that that wasn't a good deal for her. So she quit, and she actually would sell. Then she started her own business, and she would actually sell the candles to me for a fee instead of getting them for free and earning her money filling bottles. So she's a little clever one. But yeah, they were my first employees. They were my first guinea pigs, and they just supported me through the very beginning, all the way, you know, for years.
so a lot of entrepreneurs have trouble with, you know, they like to do the whole solopreneur thing, but you realize you can't do that. You're not going to be able to grow. So can you explain the process that you
Sorry, would you say, can I explain the process?
Can you explain the process of hiring people that you really don't know?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. I mean, I'm sure like this is a problem at even large corporations of finding the right talent. I think I have a mentality of the character that I expect from the people that I work with. I mean, when you work with family, you know them inside and out. I mean, for the most part, you know, I've had good experiences with my family because we're pretty close, like that I can trust them and we can talk through some of these hard issues. But when you bring new people in that you don't know their background, you don't know their history. I mean, you know, you can throw a resume together at night that says like you're the best firefighter in the world, but until they start actually doing it and taking those responsibilities, you really have nothing to go on. And so, I mean, it's just a lot of interviewing. I definitely trusted the recommendations of some of my close friends, and would have a team lunch. I love doing team lunch or team dinner, see how we jive on a personal level, see how they integrate with the rest of the team that we're building, and kind of go one at a time. Like I think I'm I'm a very lean business owner, so it's not a huge team that we have here at Eden Body Works. We don't bring on another person until we're sure that there's full-time work for them, that there's an area of impact where we really need someone with a particular expertise to kind of take over and really own. I love that sense of ownership that comes with being on a team. And so when I'm hiring, I let them know, like, you are responsible for this. I expect you to drive decisions in this area, to be confident that you can, communicate and work well with the rest of the team. So that's just a little bit of my personal mentality of just bringing someone on. I know it's a very sensitive topic, because it feels like I was saying, like choosing a babysitter. Like, this is your child. This is your livelihood. If they do their job badly, like maybe everybody doesn't get paid. It's tough in the beginning. So yeah, I would just say take your time.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned Georgia Tech. So what was your major at Georgia Tech?
So at Georgia Tech, I studied computer science, and I had concentrations in artificial intelligence and devices.
So I guess that's the invention part, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you graduate and you work for Microsoft?
Yep. I'm a program manager here in Redmond, Washington. I work at the Microsoft headquarters, and I work on the Xbox experiences team.
Okay, so did they know that you had this other side hustle?
Yeah, no, they knew. You kind of have to disclose stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah,
they knew.
I actually interned at Microsoft before I came full time. Definitely knew about it.
Okay, start over. It froze. You interned at Microsoft? Go ahead.
Yep, they knew about it. I actually put it on my application, on my resume, so they definitely knew that this was a part of my life. They actually admired the entrepreneurial mindset that I would bring to the team. So it was fun testing the waters for my internship, but they totally knew.
That's really cool. That is really cool. So so what do you try? Like, I know that you're into robotics. Is that right? Is that what I've heard? Yeah. So are you trying to create some, are you working on that, like trying to do that on the side, or, are you just trying to see what you can do with Microsoft and the Xbox? Although I heard the Xbox is going through a big change right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're constantly updating and improving the experience. It's been exciting. So Microsoft has just been a great opportunity to learn about developing consumer electronics. In my undergrad at Georgia Tech, it's a very research-based university, so there are these proposals, and you're doing all this research and things like that, and that is really kind of how evolved robotics is at the point. Like, there are some commercial robots that are out there being sold, but mostly for things like manufacturing, some for surgery, things like that. So the industry, I would say, is not as evolved as I would love it to be. But at Microsoft, where I'm working on the Xbox team, I'm learning about user experience or customer experience. And I work on an engineering team where we have to weigh those decisions of, okay, how do you make a fun experience that solves these needs or solves these problems and that works for people all around the world. I mean, that has been one of the most amazing parts of being at Microsoft, is the scale of the impact, the fact that millions of people use the product every day and are very vocal in giving feedback. I get to work with an engineering team, design team, legal team, marketing, PR, putting all those things together, kind of like what I do at Eden Body Works, but in a completely different industry. And it's crazy how much similarities there are, but how starkly different they are in terms of the audience and what their needs are and kind of how you reach them. And even the product development is very, very different when you're working with something that isn't kind of physical. So I'm on the software team, and so we can make changes like that. Every day we can iterate, make things different. Whereas kind of when you're evolving a product formula and you already have thousands of bottles out on the shelves, it's going to take weeks before your reformulation actually gets into the hands of a customer. So there's just different paces of these industries has been quite interesting. it's grown me in a lot of ways.
So now you're in grad school, and what is this degree for?
Yeah, so my graduate degree is in human-centered design and engineering. So I have just absolutely fallen in love with product development. I love being on kind of this side of how things get built, helping people fall in love with the idea, not just the idea, but the implementation, the whys behind, what exists and how it exists and who it serves, things like that. So this degree is all about really understanding people and understanding technology and that merger between them, right? So you shouldn't feel like you're a slave to your phone or that your phone is difficult to use, but it should be complementing your life. That's the mentality that we take in this program. So very human-centered, very servient to the person, very research-centered, things like that. So I've just been enjoying it so much.
What do you think is the hardest lesson that you've learned in all of your life right now?
Gosh, what a question. I mean, the toughest thing is realizing that you can't have everything. Like, you can work really hard and you can try and you can cut yourself up into 20 different pieces, but you can't have everything. To really have something that matters, I think you have to have clear priorities in your life, and just clear values of what's important, and be willing to make sacrifices and just different trade-offs. Like I definitely think in the beginning, like when I didn't want to stop the company because I wanted to go to college, that was my first step in thinking like, maybe I can have it all. And I won't say that I stopped trying to have it all, because I absolutely keep trying. But I realized that, you really have to make those hard decisions and be comfortable, so that when you look back, your past is not littered with regrets, but that you really feel comfortable that, yeah, I didn't go to that meeting because this was my sister's 25th birthday and I'm going to be there for my sister. Or, hey, I got to miss work today. I want to go do this vacation thing with my friends. These friendships are important to me, things like that. And having that balance in your life,
So you can't have everything all at the same time.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. Like, you got to have those trade-offs. But it took some time to really think about what is important, right? Like, are all 200 of my friends equally important to me? What are those relationships that are contributing to my lives? What relationships can I contribute to? Who am I going to sit down and have coffee with when I have time to have coffee with someone? Like, really, from a friendship perspective, or even work. Like, am I going to stay till 7 or 8 or 9? Or am I going to go home and cook food for me and my roommate, and we're going to rest and relax, and I'm not going to overdo it in the workspace? You know what I mean? Like, taking advantage of being at the airport and that focus that you can get by just being on a plane and actually, reading a book or cranking through some emails, like just being really intentional about the decisions you make and understanding like their importance in your life. So that's just been a huge lesson for me, right? Like, I constantly change the priorities of things in my life as things change,
Mm-hmm.
and it really impacts my decision making.
What are 3 important steps you think to growing your business?
Yeah, so just in the beginning, I would say having a good foundation is just critical. Knowing why you're doing what you're doing. I feel like I say this all the time, but like, the why really matters. And I think enough people have said that starting a business is not only about making money. Like, you're lucky if your business makes money, but that should not be like the core driving. Like, it should be more than that. Money is great, but it's also just not the best thing to motivate you. So I would say, if you have a firm foundation and you really believe in the mission and the value and the impact you're going to make with your organization or your brand or whatever it may be, that is the number one thing to help with the growth of the foundation. The second thing we already talked about is building that team. Not thinking you're going to be the do-it-all wonder person, finding people who are trained in that place or are passionate about that space that you need help. And then I would say, so foundation, team, and I would say just planning. Planning is really important. Like I said, after the Oprah show, there were a ton of opportunities just thrown my way. Just be on this show, go to this place, sell here, things like that. And it was very, very easy to kind of grow at a pace that was very, very quick and unmaintainable for the brand. And that leads to, dissatisfaction from customers, dissatisfaction from your distributors, things like that. And so, I put together this plan for managed growth of like, okay, we're going to take on, 2 partners every 6 months. This is how we're going to evaluate our relationship. These are the expectations. When I get this far, I'm hoping to see, X, Y, and Z metrics to make sure that we're on a good path, and even setting those farther off goals. Like in 2008, I was like, I want to be in Walmart store, or I want to be in Target. And like putting that on a board that we revisit and we say, okay, how are the actions we're taking this week, this month, this year, driving us closer to, getting in Target, or, solving this problem, or different things like that. Planning from the aspect of a business plan, having a sound way that you can communicate your idea, that's great. But that's, I kind of wrote that into the foundation piece of it. You really understanding what you're doing, but having a plan for where you want to go, what opportunities you want to pursue, and, it's just a good way to just figure out, what do I need to do to actually make this plan happen.
So because you did that, you planned and you strategically grew, you never had to get any investors or anything, did you?
Yeah, I mean, we've pretty much been bootstrapping since the start of the company. Been a super frugal company from the start. It's just been, we do what we can do. Like if we can't afford to do those types of things, then, we're not doing enough with what we have. So I don't know.
I think that's smart. That's a smart way to grow,
Yeah, you get excited though. You get really excited because money is an enabling factor, right? Like somebody could give you $1 million and you could triple the amount of business you can do. But in the end, you're not just giving them $1 million back. You're giving them, sometimes shares of your company, sometimes interest and things like that. And it's just hard to manage all the pots that you're picking out of and still trying to stay focused on the business. And it's a lot easier to mismanage your own funds than funds where people are breathing down your neck to get back and kind of the input that they feel like they deserve to put into the ideas and the way that the company is run once they've kind of invested their finances in there. So
what is your plan for Eden's in the next 5 years? So if you can share with us.
Gosh, it's tough. I'm going to be 30 in 5 years. That's scary. Let's never say that out loud again. Okay. We're doing a lot. Right now, we're in the middle of Eden Goes Global campaign. So I'm expanding the brand outside of just the US, and we're moving into Canada, the Caribbean, a little into South America. There's a great big world out there. There's tons of, just from a legal perspective, tons of, trade commissions that I need to meet with, and, meetings like that to expand the distribution, just to be ready from a business perspective to get out there. But there are so many men and women out there that have feedback that I want to interview and learn from, and countries I want to visit all around the world. And, just there's so much I want to do in terms of expanding the reach of the brand. But right now, we're starting in Trinidad, in the Virgin Islands on St. Thomas, and then going to Toronto later this fall. So that's kind of what's happening right now. And it's just, it's a big can of worms.
And what about, can you give us any leaks on products?
So the one thing I will say is that the name of the company has been Eden Body Works for a long time, and we've pretty much been serving you from the neck up. So that's something that in the next year, in the next few months, I'm hoping to change.
Okay. And that's funny, because we're at everything we go to, people always come up and think that it's for the body, and we're like, no, it's hair. We're like, oh, I'm like, yeah.
The offerings, it's been 12 years. The offerings have evolved quite a bit. Yeah. We had a lotion, we had soaps, we had bath salts. Like I said, we had those candles initially. But again, it was a part of the plan of being strategic about what products are out, where do we release them, where are they distributed, things like that, that helped us really rein it in and not just get overwhelmed with selling everything that we create. So, baby steps.
Exactly. And it's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Did you have any problem? This is a question from the audience. Did you have any problem letting go of so much control? Hold on a second. so much control since you have another career?
Yeah, like honestly, it was tough. It was tough, but only because when I first started, I think this is an entrepreneur um, phase that you go through. When I first started, it was hard to believe that I could get anyone to care about my company the way that I cared about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, not just looking at this company as something that they can get something from as an employee or as a partner, but you know, I didn't believe that I could get them to care so much about it and that they would work as hard as I would work if I was doing it. And it was just the trust and the mutual respect of the people that I was hiring and that I was working with, that they would deliver, that they would, you know, do what they said that they would do. And if I had feedback, then I needed to give it
from system UI server.
That I needed to give them the feedback in a constructive way that would help them grow and not kind of tear them down and remind them of how much they're not me and not doing things the way I would do them. Yeah, that was tough, but it really had nothing to do with the split careers. I love that at Microsoft, I'm an individual, they call it an individual contributor. I'm nobody's boss. I just do what I need to do, in and out. You know, I like work with my team, we all high five, I go home. Whereas at Eden Body Works, I'm, you know, constantly wondering, like, what's marketing doing? What is product development doing? What's the text on the label? What is going on our social media? Like, my hands are in everything. Where in Microsoft, I can kind of own my piece, you know, and just own that kind of central piece and just be okay with my piece going well and helping others as they need me. But if they don't do their jobs well, like, you know,
yeah,
I'm not losing sleep over it.
Right. Exactly. That is, I mean, that is cool. So the one little thing we didn't talk about, can you have a personal life with running Eden's and working at Microsoft?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you mind if I run and get my charger really quickly?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Live on the air, but I'll be right back.
Okay.
I don't want my laptop to die.
Yeah.
Question.
Okay. So you guys, no one else has sent any other questions. We are almost done, but I want to definitely take your questions if you have questions tonight. She's a wealth of information because she's been in business a long time. For her to be so young, she's been in business. You heard her 12 years this year. And Eden's is a very successful line, very successful. So please definitely, like I said, oh, and I didn't show you. Here's one of the products. This is from the Peppermint Tea Tree line. This is Temple Balm. So if you have some, I'll even read it to you. Moisturizes and treats the hairline to prevent weak hair from breaking, fading, or thinning out. And I don't just use on the edges. Wherever you have a spot, I say use it. And it's great. As you see, I've used a lot of it. So we also,
I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Great. Okay. So yeah. So personal life.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can have it. Like I said, sacrifice, balance, priorities, time management. Yeah.
Okay.
Like when this interview is done, I'm going to finally see Civil War with one of my coworkers. You can do it. Like,
okay.
You just have to work for it. You just have to want it. Like, if you want an easy life, that's fine.
Right.
Like you get what comes out of whatever work you contribute. So when I'm at work, I put in my work and I'm focused on work. When it's time to do an assignment, I really do. I really try and be disciplined and buckle down and use that time for what I budgeted it for. And then when I block off 6 hours on a Saturday to crank out a video game, that's all I'm doing. I'm not checking emails.
Right.
I'm not, you know, like you have to set those kind of boundaries for your life and for yourself. And, you know, I get to church every Sunday because that is important to
Amen.
me. You know, going to my small group, meeting with my friends, those things are important to me and I treat them like they're important. One of my small group leaders, he says, like, let my yes be yes and my no be no. And I just have to make that commitment to the decisions that I made. And so a personal life, balance for me, peace for me, friendship, fun, those are things that I value just as much as I value the success of my company or, you know, the success of my work at Microsoft. And so, yeah, I understand my priority rank, so it's a lot easier to make those decisions.
So we have 2 money questions. How soon did you get advisors regarding money?
I mean, from the very beginning, from day one, I went into an incubator program with the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, and I met. It was great because it was all pro bono. I met on Wall Street with a financial advisor. They gave me pro bono legal services, financial services, helping me understand how to break down the cost of goods. Even what the value of the production would be if I was to hire someone and things like that. And obviously I had my parents there. My mom had started a business or two. My dad is really good with money, like just knows what he's doing in terms of investing. And I let them mentor me because I honestly, the only money I ever managed was my allowance and the money I found in my couches. So, yeah, just kind of lemonade style, just starting from scratch and kind of just being a good shepherd over a little bit. And as it got bigger, it's just kind of the same strategy, taking care of business first and having fun with the rest of it later.
Can you share anything about building wealth or your wealth management plan?
Wealth is tough, and that's a clever person whoever asked about wealth, because wealth is deep. Wealth is just beyond the cash that is in your checking account. And so, I mean, I feel like I'm building value in my life in a lot of different ways. I'm a huge saver. I'm just getting into the investing space, stocks and all those different things like that. But I think it's a lot of just about, in the beginning, educating yourself about the opportunities that are out there. That's just a huge thing that I learned, just about, okay, how much should I be putting in my 401k? How much of my paycheck really should go to shoes and clothes and whatever every month? I started using Mint, just a little app that just shows me where my money goes. That was tough for me at first too, because I honestly didn't want the truth. Didn't want to know how much I was spending on sunflower seeds and chocolate and things like that. But yeah, just understanding kind of where your money goes, and also just your mentality about the money. That just having money for the sake of having money and stability shouldn't drive your life. But I understand, like, I want to be financially stable. I want to be able to take care of things, but I want one day to be like a great philanthropist. That's one thing that Bill Gates and I have in common. And so, like, having pools of money that I can just give to my kids when I die is kind of not really my ambition in terms of wealth, because they won't have to have fought and struggled the way I did. But yeah, just understanding where your money goes, learning about the opportunities out there for you to do smart things with your money, and then just focusing on, why are you even accumulating it in the first place, and what you're going to do with it to impact the world. Because as everyone says, you can't take it with you when you die. So yeah.
Do you have any last parting tips for any entrepreneurs out there, whether they be young children with an idea or, 40-something-year-old person with an idea?
Yeah. I would say be kind to yourself and to other people. The relationship that you have with yourself obviously just will reflect into the way that you treat other people. And so if you're starting a business, you are doing something amazing. You're practically like creating new life, and employment opportunities, and solving needs and things like that. It is a huge thing that you are undertaking. And I think that a lot of entrepreneurs sacrifice sleep and their health and their free time and their relationships. And I think that it's just not worth having a company if that's what you have to do. I really just believe that there's crunch time, there are hard times where you do have to make those difficult sacrifices, but that just can't be the way that you live your life, year after year, day in, day out. And just the way that you treat others. So I've met just tons of people just in my travels at different trade shows and things like that. And I take their comments, good and bad, whether, they love the product and it's amazing and oh my gosh, or oh, hey, I didn't really like it. It didn't work for me. Just taking that feedback and just, giving those respectful responses, even if what you're receiving isn't the best stuff. I think you leave a good taste in in their mouths for the kind of person you are, that people want to tell your story, like you as a brand ambassador, helping us out at Eden, that they like who you are as a person. I think that goes such a long way. So don't run yourself ragged, and try and be nice. Yeah.
I always say treat everybody the way you'd like to be treated, regardless
Yeah,
of how
better
they treat
even.
you. Yes, better
Yeah.
even, exactly. So, maybe one day they might realize and say, oh,
Yeah.
But thank you so much. This was so wonderful. And I'm so glad that we finally were able to do this, because I know you have a very busy schedule. And so, and everyone, please visit the website. I'll have everything in the box below, but it's EdenBodyWorks.net. And you can find it pretty much everywhere. Sally's, Walgreens, Walmart. I've heard people at Rite Aid, CVS, just at Kroger, everywhere. You can find the products. If you have questions, please tweet us. We're both on Twitter. She's on Instagram. I'll have all of that stuff listed, but please, Eden Body Works is very much on social media. If you have questions about the products, you want to find a video, you can find it on YouTube on how to use the stuff. It's a really awesome company, and because it's the way it started, I think that's the other reason why I really like working with it, because it's not like it's a L'Oreal or something huge. It's really, I've never met maybe only like 2 of the main people, but I've met most everybody else in person, and I know who they are. They know who I am. And so I think that makes all the difference in the world as well. And the brand ambassadors is an awesome, great team. All the ladies that I have met, and even on the calls, they're amazing. So please support the products if you have a young lady. And actually, the products are for all types of hair, chemically treated, non-chemically treated. It's just for hair. So please check out the products. And when she comes out with the next line, check that out too. And I will have everything, like I said, in the box below. And please tell us where to find you, so we can definitely keep making sure we keep supporting you. So tell us, and then I'll put them in the box below too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you named quite a few of them. Yeah, EdenBodyWorks.com. You can go there for just the whole long list of where to find. We're bringing on new partners all the time. Definitely recommend liking our page on Facebook. That's the #1 way to kind of keep up with updates and kind of just announcements and even discounts and coupons and things like that. We're on Instagram. Our Instagram account's a lot of fun. They're at Eden Body Works, and I'm at Eden's Jasmine on Instagram, Twitter, things like that. So yeah, please keep in touch. Love the questions. Would love to, continue to answer them, via social media, so we can kind of share it out, get the word out there. But yeah, keep in touch, and thanks for the support. Yeah.
So I am Ask Dr. Renee on all social media platforms. So please don't forget to visit, follow. Like I said, if you have questions, ask me. Our next show, I just got the email. Our next show is on Tuesday. Anybody who's a fan of Black and Sexy TV, we are going to have Miss Black and Sexy TV, Numa Perrier, on the show on Tuesday night, same time, same place. So I hope you guys will tune in. And if you don't know what Black and Sexy TV is, you got a few days to go to YouTube and check out some of their shows. They have a host of shows, and they're amazing. It's the best stuff that you hopefully one day will see on TV, but some of the stuff you may not see on TV. But it's awesome, awesome network. And it's been started by her and her husband, and you guys have to come check it out. But we're going to have a great conversation. She, of course, is another entrepreneur, so we will have her on Tuesday. And I hope to see you guys all then. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to like. And please drop a comment below. Let us know how you like the show. I think this was our 59th show today. So awesome. We're really, thank you. We're kicking it in there. And I had a talk with a really huge person today that we might get them soon. And so I'm really excited. Next month is Black Music Month. You guys know how I feel about music. So I think we're going to have some very interesting guests next month to represent the music industry. And so, yeah, I look forward to talking to everyone. I'm going to go on Periscope now to do a little after party. And Jasmine, have a great evening, and thank you so much. And I look forward to meeting you in person one day, very soon.
I will make it to Chicago, and we'll have a drink together.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks a lot. Bye.